Hi, everyone. Welcome to part 2 on forgiveness in chapter 10. Before I dive into talking about what I want to share today, I want to affirm something which hopefully you already know, but you are seen and welcomed into this space. Whoever you are, whatever your background, whatever your race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, whatever your past experiences have been, whoever and however you are, I 100% welcome you into this space. And I'm so glad that you're in this course with me and all the other TAs and Dr. Maxwell. So kudos to you. Conflict resolution is it's a thing and not an easy thing. So yay for being courageous, you, and thank you for showing up. Okay, so in the last video, I talked a little bit about what is forgiveness. Now I want to spend a few minutes with you talking about some of the challenges of forgiveness. And if there's one thing that you take away from this video, is simply that I hope you are gentle with yourself. I hope you are gentle with yourself. This is not easy stuff. As you can see, even Hocker and Wilmot, my perception of them is they were struggling to write this chapter because forgiveness is so complex. In chapter 10, you'll read about how this discussion of, is forgiveness a decision or is it a process? And it reminds me of the discussion of light. Is light a particle or a wave? It's both. Is it, and similarly, forgiveness, yes, it makes sense sometimes to think of it as a decision, this act of empowerment that, you know what, I want to be free. I want to have my energy back to live my life in the present moment. And I'm empowered to do so regardless of that perpetrator, regardless of what happened. So I am making a choice to forgive. That's forgiveness, decision. However, forgiveness is also a process. And it kind of circles back to Hocker and Wilmot's first definitional tenet that forgiveness is a desire to be in the present after having reflected deeply on the past. And so that the only way that you get to forgiveness is after having taken that journey of reflecting on the past. And I sigh right there just because I know, from personal experience and from witnessing the courageous journeys of many other people, that's no light task to have the courage, especially when you have lived through trauma, as many, if not all of us have, to go through and feel what your emotions are and to unpack that. And what I want to highlight is that if forgiveness is a process, that means that sometimes along that process, you're going to not feel congealed and solid and happy-go-lucky and yep, all's good. There's going to be days where part of that authentic practice of forgiveness might mean that you put on boxing gloves and beat the out of your bed because you're so angry at what happened. And I want to include experiences like that in the process of forgiveness. It may not look like that for you, but it might. And that's wonderful and included. And circling back to what I shared in the first video, where I shared how in the subculture in which I was raised, there was such a swiftness, a quickness to wanting to forgive, sort of in a decision way, that many times it precluded and prevented that messy journey that would have brought many people to authentic forgiveness, because it is really messy. And Hocker and Wilmot, what I want to highlight regarding the challenges of forgiveness, regarding the messiness of forgiveness, is something that they talk about on page 319. And they use this analogy of moving through the process of forgiveness like moving down a river. And I like this image for a number of reasons. Number one, it's helpful to realize that once you've made the choice to get on the river, you might be in a kayak, you might be whitewater rafting, there is the sense of movement. You're not on a pond. You're not on a lake. You're on a river where that there, even on the tough days when you're like, what the F is going on? There is a sense of movement and flow, that something within yourself and larger than yourself, there's a process that is happening that is going to take you somewhere else, somewhere better, right? Where we can release those negative patterns and feel more liberated and feel more present. And then the other thing that I like about this image of moving down the river is Wilmot and Hocker's discussion of these eddies, these places in the river. If you've been kayaking or whitewater rafting, you know that many rivers that you would do this on, there's going to be choppy places where you're just like, woohoo, and holding on for dear life. And then there's other kind of calm places where the water just kind of circles like this and spirals. And this is paradoxical and complex, where that in Hocker and Wilmot speak to this, where that sometimes it's nice to take those little outs, just take a little break. I'm tired of going down the crazy big rapids. I'm tired of processing all of my emotions that are stored in my body. I just need a break, right? However, if you stay in those eddies forever, you can kind of just get stuck, and then you're not moving down the river. So this image that they provide encompasses a pretty realistic view of all these elements of the process. There's no right or wrong. It's not like you're always supposed to be moving down the river in the rapids and you don't get into these eddies. And it's not that, oh, I've got to just relax and be in the eddies and stay there forever. But just a willingness, I'm encouraging you to embrace a willingness to be gentle with yourself and to observe. Am I in an eddy right now? And the 3 eddies that they talk about are just this sense of revenge, which is a really natural state to be in when you're moving through processing trauma and hurt or harm. So am I feeling a desire for revenge? Another eddy that they talk about is withdrawal, just like, I'm done. I don't want to deal with this right now. And that's a very valid and functional place to be at times. And then the third eddy they talk about is victimhood, which sometimes, in order to get clear on what happened, we're talking about forgiveness here. We're talking about having been hurt or harmed. That thus means that something happened to us that was violating us, that was not good. And thus, in that way, yeah, we were a victim in that moment. However, victim consciousness, if we always perpetuate this idea that life happens to me and that I'm a victim and it's their fault, it can be a really dysfunctional place to live in forever if we got stuck in that eddy, because it denies our empowerment. I am not, I've had experiences where, really bad things happened to me when I was either a child or in a less powerful position. But those experiences are not all of who I am. I am not just a victim. I am a full, vibrant, empowered human being. So in summary, as we're practicing this process of forgiveness, there's going to be a lot of choppy waters of processing emotions. There are going to be these eddies that are natural and normal. They can be places where you just kind of feel like that for a long time. And I want to encourage you to be gentle with yourself and to keep on engaging the process. That if you observe yourself being stuck in a state of wanting revenge, feeling like a victim, being withdrawn, know that there's more life and more water downstream, and to keep on moving through it. Okay, enjoy reading the rest of chapter 10. You are wonderful. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.